Florida right at the rim. Khalil Brantley, who's checked into the game, misses on his first take. Kansas working quickly. Corner pocket three, splash! It's David Coit.
That's exactly what he gives this team. He gives them energy off the bench. He'll look to go from the three-point stripe, but he'll also look for two. Real good energy level player for Kansas.
There's Chichi Avery, the Cowboys' leading scorer, despite coming off the bench. Just barely over Bryce Thompson on their season box score. And he's going to earn a trip to the free throw line.
43% three-shooter from on the last 9 games. Coit just looking for it. That's one of the things he does so well. He's aggressive, will make things happen, and he'll change the tempo of the game in a hurry.
And he was really one of the few players who actually showed up in that game Tuesday at BYU, lauded by Bill Self after that game. And he has picked up right where he left off. First free throw for Avery off target. First year in the program after 1 year at Central Florida. His first 2 years at New Mexico State. Remember, he helped the Lobos to that NCAA tournament first round upset over Connecticut a couple of years ago. Big part of that team. Boy, they've missed some free throws here in this first half.
Even points on the board. They went over 100 against UCF. Last came out, they had 5 guys in double figures, one with 9.
Cowboys 2 of 6 at the stripe so far.
Oh, that's a pretty good screen by Dickinson.
Coit getting the shoulder square, knocks down another 3.
Yeah, he was freed up because of what I just mentioned. Dickinson laid a roadblock on his man, freeing him up for a little rhythm jumper.
He was a prolific scorer last season at Northern Illinois, nearly 21 points per game. He can fill it up and plays with confidence.
Oh, and he just plays really hard.
Newman. Big three-point answer for the Cowboys. And we've had some fireworks in this one so far. Both teams showing up.
Oh, who's thinking of shooting that one?
This is A.J. Storr. Three-pointer a little bit too much. And the loose change corralled by Devo Davis into the game now for Steve Lutz. Avery from deep.
This is a team that looks confident. Oklahoma State on the road here. Generally can get rattled early on, and that's what Bill Self would have loved to have here. A little quick burst. Go up by 5 or 10 points.
Mayo, the Lawrence native, grew up not far from here. Dickinson, a little bit of contact on the pass with Usman coming over. Let's see who the officials get here. And that is going to be the second on Usman.
Yeah, Newman is picking up the slack, shooting it from long range. You love that. What?
As unassuming a basketball Hall of Famer that you can hang out with. Always fun chatting and hanging out with Coach Self here, the Hall of Famer. Coit! Boy, he has wasted no time. 9 points off the bench. He's got 3 threes.
Boy, you could tell the way he bounced out of that shot and then went back down the court. What kind of confidence level he's playing with and shooting at.
Well, he has been the spark plug for Bill Self so far in this game. This is Avery deep in the corner. Shot clock now 9. Newman. Good start for Newman off the bench.
See, that's one of those shots we had spoken about in the open against BYU. It wasn't a 3, but it was a 2-point shot. Not really contested well by Storr just then.
Kansas Jayhawks 17-9, the preseason #1 team in the country that currently finds itself tied for 6th in the Big 12 standings.
That's the difficulty too, Spiro, of trying to guard Coit. We've seen him shoot the ball well from long range, hitting 3 threes, and the other thing about it is that you come out to guard him and he's not afraid to put it on the deck and score from the 2-point mid-range game.
Self makes another change with Bidunga taking a seat. Lutz will reinsert Jamiron Keller. As he joins Brantley now in the backcourt. Here comes Harris weaving his way through. It looks like it was Brantley trying to reach in from the back after he was beaten off the bounce. And you got to like the aggressiveness that Harris is playing with Jimmy early in this game. 5th team foul, and Harris to the free throw line for Kansas. Kansas, by the way, in that loss Tuesday at BYU, they took just 5 free throws, tied for the fewest in a Bill Self era game, going back to 2003. CBS Wednesday, Survivor is calling you to a brand new season. Jeff Probst is back in Survivor. New season begins Wednesday, 8/7 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. A lot of oddities from that Tuesday 34-point loss for Kansas at BYU.
Yeah, well, you know, they don't really take a whole lot of free throws attempts, Kansas. They average about 14 a game, so, but 5 just indicates that you're not flowing, you're not going to the basket. Nice steal here. See if they continue to push.
Harris all over the gym here at the start. Into the corner. Hard move to the rack. Storr couldn't finish, and then contact. Basket will not count from Dickinson.
I think that's going to be Keller on the floor just before he got the chance to bring that shot back up over his shoulders.
Just goes back to what Bill Self told Jenny a couple of minutes ago. We're playing hard, but just not playing with the efficiency we want, at least yet. But boy, what a difference a couple of days make for Kansas. They just look completely dead right from the start in Provo on Tuesday night.
Well, this place will give you a little energy level as a player.
Adams swings it to Harris, taking Brantley off the bounce. Into the corner, this is Storr. Missed it. Dickinson, heady play to tap it out, but it's controlled by Keller. Up the floor to Thompson, up off glass, missed it. Rebound Avery, and he cleans up the mess.
Coit actually made a good defensive play just then. He guessed to stop Thompson from going to his right. That forced him to miss that shot, but real good transition offense and follow-ups by the Oklahoma State team.
And Jimmy, we're seeing the best version. Dickinson, Aaron pass, Harris is able to track it down. We're seeing the best version of what this Oklahoma State team looks like on their best days as Harris finds the laces and buries it from deep.
Yeah, when you think about Harris having trouble shooting that 3 at under 30%, a lot of times they'll give him that and they'll kind of sag back, especially going over the screens. They'll go behind that screen. Made him pay that trip.
Avery gonna pull, back of the rim, no good, and the rebound corralled by Storr. Up the floor he comes. This is Harris. As we come up on the 8-minute mark, Harris obviously playing with confidence. Misfires there. We're going to get a loose ball foul here against Oklahoma State.
And Dickinson is just a big guy in there at 7 feet and change. He'll be shooting a 1-on-1, but it's just hard to get him out of his spot when he rotates to the basket. A nice little shot there by Harris. One of the things that Bill Self did mention, Spiro, as you recall, said that if Oklahoma State wants to go up and down with us with pace, we'll go up and down with them also. And I think Bill can say that from the standpoint he knows he's playing at home. So a mistake or two in their transition game won't hurt them as much as it does on the road and losing your confidence overall.
So Dickinson at the line, 1-and-1, makes good on the first. By the way, just corralled his 1,400th career rebound. That's now the 3rd most among active Division I players in what has been just the all-time careers. Last season became only the 2nd player in the history of the sport to be named a consensus All-American, Jim, for 2 different schools. Of course, that amazing run at Michigan to begin. But he came here with so many expectations on his shoulder, the disappointment of how last season ended for the team. Can he rally this group to fulfill the potential, the enormous potential that they had at the start of the season?
He's put up over 2,600 points in his career. I know he's been around a bit, but that's a lot of points.
36th on the all-time list is Steph Curry. Dickinson is right behind him. When you start putting your name into that conversation with some of those names, you know you've done something right.
Well, Oklahoma State has to get to the conversation at the offensive end right here.
Arturo Dean gets a reset to Keller. Newman underneath, good feed. Boy, Jennings got caught, and it's a turnover. Danger zone for the Cowboys as the Jayhawks have opened up a 9-point lead. Kansas coming home, trying to get their season rated. Corpus Christi got them to the dance 2 straight years. Then last year we mentioned with Western Kentucky, Now trying to put it all together in Stillwater.
Yeah, it's a challenge. There's no question about it. For with the atmosphere and the environment of college basketball right now, you're bringing in new faces constantly and trying to figure out how to fit the pieces to the puzzle.
Mayo, boy, it was all made possible by the play from Dickinson to tap it out. 8 straight for the Jayhawks.
One thing to try to block Dickinson out, but if you don't really root him out of there, he's going to be tall enough to get a good swipe at it, which we just got a chance to see.
How do the Cowboys respond here? Some turbulent waters. Thompson, no, but they desperately needed that shot. Jayhawks looking to push. Griffin across the floor to Mayo. Weaves his way through. Body contact, no whistle. But it's going to belong to the Jayhawks.
See, he's hard to push out. He's leaning away from the play in the basketball, but still gets a good hand on it to get that outside. And Mayo just steps up, takes the shot. Oof, they had a lob that they missed.
Harris inbounds to Dickinson. Plenty of time to shoot. 20 on the timer. Dickinson, the skip to Harris. Gets his way into the paint. Errant pass looking for Adams. Another KU turnover. Their 7th. Thompson taking flight and lays it up and in. Just a gigantic basket for the Cowboys. It's a 10-point game.
Yeah, that was a good one because they had it defensively. They stopped that Adams lob just then. I think it was Dean that made the big bump just to keep him away from the glass.
Mayo defended by Thompson beyond the 3-point circle. Near corner to Harris. Griffin left open.
Yeah, they are really passing the basketball well, Kansas, right now.
Griffin, a prolific 3-point shooter last season with Alabama, as Arturo Dean had it knocked out of bounds.
And the way they're kicking it around, it's 74 threes last year for Alabama, so this is a guy in the scouting report you better find. Good work defensively to go over the top, keep your body away by Harris.
Harris, the former Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. Dean weaves his way through, gets it out. Now they'll reset. Out front, this is Newman finding the laces. A little bit off to the left, and the rebound corralled by Dickinson.
With Oklahoma State not shooting the ball well and not driving it, one of the key things is that Kansas is not picking up a lot of fouls, Spiro. And that's one thing that Oklahoma State generally does. They get to the line quite a bit in terms of their attempts and then their makes.
It's a great point. Fouling has been a big part of the issue for them all season long. Adams underneath, coming. Vicious two-handed flush.
Whew. When you have hops like that, you have the time to cradle it, get it away from the defenders, and finish it off. This is called keeping the fans engaged here with Adams' ability to go upstairs. They go across the court here to find them, and then watch how he tucks it just for a second to finish it off. You'll see it right there, just a touch. Keeping it away from the defender. And like we didn't need more noise from the crowd here.
This place, just the electricity in this building, hard to describe unless you've been here to experience it firsthand. 13-2 KU run. They've hit 4 of their last 5 shots as they have opened up this 15-point lead.
Well, some people might be watching Kansas today, maybe for the first time in a month, and saying, I don't see anything wrong with them. They didn't see their last 2 games against BYU and Utah.
Steve Lutz tweaking his lineup a little bit as Connor Dow checks into the game.
Still like to see them get something to the basket. They're getting a lot of deflections, though, Kansas.
Harris has been all over the place as they force the 7th Cowboys turnover this first half.
Whoa!
Harris! Adams putting him on a poster. KJ Adams bringing the Cowboys to their knees here in Lawrence. Boy, Mayo trying to tear the roof off this place. Look at Adams. Slick pass from the floor to get it to Dickinson.
I think you may have to think about a timeout, regardless of what the clock says or what you're trying to hold until the immediate timeout. That second dunk by Adams was way upstairs.
There's the extended run for the Jayhawks. They've hit 9 straight points. Whistle blown away from the ball, but the only thing that could get this place quieted down, at least for a couple of seconds.
Over the top again. Harris with that read, wasn't it? Look at him. He's just upstairs. He's got to worry about his head coming across. Whew.
One of the most dynamic leapers in the country, KJ Adams, coming home and getting right so far with his Jayhawks. Dickinson giving Arturo Dean a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, they have everything going. Both ends of the floor right now. This is why Kansas is difficult to beat in this building.
Boy, the Cowboys are on the ropes. Dickinson again, he's got 10. Arturo Dean, big trip here for the Cowboys as we hit the 4-minute mark left first half. Thompson trying to fend off Adams, boy, got him to bite just enough. Bill Self irate. They're going to put Thompson at the free throw line.
Yeah, he's going to go upstairs right here from this left side of the floor. Whew. Dynamic.
One sandwich.
In Lawrence, what a performance so far by Hunter Dickinson and his Jayhawks.
Now watch the back screen, how they set it go deep corner. They set the middle screen, and he just finishes it off. Catch and go. Now watch this. He just almost fakes as if he's going to pass it. Gets the defender to flinch just a tiny bit. He knows he's got his 17-foot jumper ready to roll.
All the criticism they've taken, Jimmy, and we mentioned it, their lack of defense during the 2 games that they've lost in the last week. We have to keep in mind, this is a top 10 defensive efficiency team in the country, according to Ken Palm on the season. We know what the potential is with this team. And boy, this is the Kansas team that everyone expected at the start of the season. Again, the preseason #1. Remember, they started the year with 7 straight wins. Really good in the non-conference. They beat North Carolina, Michigan State, and Duke before the wheels just completely came off in the non-conference.
And Bill Self, I think, has assessed, the Oklahoma State team very well coming in here. I think they've shoot the ball 32% from the 3-point stripe. So I think they can start out, as they've done here, sagging back a little bit, maybe give up a couple of threes here and there, but they're really packing it in tight. They do not want to foul, nor do they want to let Oklahoma State get the layups in the half-court sets.
You mentioned Thompson, freshman year here, and the shoulder injury. Last time he was on this floor, January 30th of last season, tore his labrum, ended up having surgery, ended his season. Had to be feeling all kinds of emotions coming back into this place. Mayo, and Kansas just keeps on coming.
Yeah, that was just a little bit of a 1-2-2 to change things up. Bill Self over there clapping for his squad. That was well executed in terms of going a little deeper down the floor and then kicking it back out. They really, really experienced the whole floor on that one.
Reset to Avery. Back on the wing. 7 to shoot. Into the paint comes Bradley. They turn it over.
See the way they're sliding. The white shirts are sliding right into the paint.
10th Oklahoma State miscue so far. Harris.
Oh, boy.
Mayo. Deep shot for Kansas.
That's an oh boy right there, Spiro. Nothing you can do about that one. All of a sudden, Oklahoma State is hoping that the 2:50 left in this first half disappears quickly.
Mayo, who started Lawrence High School, said that it was a dream come true, signing that letter to come here and play for his hometown Jayhawks.
Watch the way they slide into the paint, the white shirts. You see them right there? Plenty of white shirts to defend, and they're off to the races again.
Tough attempt, Keller. Boy, Mayo thought about it, looking for more, and then he turns it over. It's Brantley.
Yeah, he hesitated there for some reason.
Saw the run for Kansas into the corner. This is Avery. See the starters today. That has been the headline so far. All Kansas as they look to build on his 25-point lead.
And they have good communication at the defensive end, but also at the offensive end, setting their sets. don't see that too often with Adams, but he's gotten better at that. It's 10 to 12-foot jumper.
How do the Cowboys finish the half here? Inside of 2 minutes.
You just can't drive it to the basket. There's just no lanes. Here we go.
Thompson knifes inside, misses at the cup. The tap by Avery, no. And Dickinson the loose change.
How about that outlet pass, too? It's the curl outlet pass to get it going.
Just playing with all
backdoor. Look at the ball hop, Spiro. Oh,
Mayo, Dickinson. It is an offensive clinic for Kansas.
Boy, they're hoping somebody's taping this game, right? Because this is the clinic that you just mentioned. This is just wild how well they're doing at both ends of the floor, especially at the offensive side. Uh-oh, the big guy.
Dickinson unleashed.
Like this place is just unbelievable, isn't it? Man.
Self and his program, they've set such a standard in this building. And you knew that they would try to respond after what happened Tuesday night. They haven't had many nights like that in the history of this program. Third worst loss ever for the Jayhawks. And that matched the worst loss that they've ever had since Bill Self took over the reins of this program in 2003. Thompson from deep. Just not get a better look than that.
No, last two trips down, they had wide open shots. Coit back on the floor. He was the mainstay, I thought, when he got on the floor with his 3 threes.
See the offensive drive for the Cowboys, haven't scored in more than 3.5 minutes. Mayo, boy's feeling it. That's what you call the old heat check. Thompson on the push. Weaves his way up the floor. Adams got a fingertip on it. Nothing coming easy for the Cowboys. Here comes Adams underneath. Usman, boy, Jennings, good play with his defense. So 4.7 left on the clock. And Kansas with an underneath out of bounds.
And look at the way they're spreading the floor, though. Adams looking to the middle. Just one stride away from another dunk just then.
Most points that the Cowboys have given up in a half in a conference game this season now, as they have fallen into a 29-point hole here.
They don't have a lot of time to execute here, but they do have 4.7.
Harris the inbounder. This is Mayo deep in the corner, missed it. But the only thing that didn't go their way in that first half, the Kansas Jayhawks. Couple of years, but that's been hard with this group. And Jimmy, as you look at Harris missing on a wild attempt underneath, it belongs to the Cowboys. You talk about the portal now, NIL, just the amazing roster turnover for these schools year over year. Of course, it's a first new year job for him, trying to put all these pieces together.
Well, trying to put the pieces together on this floor against Kansas, right? I mean, not the greatest time to have any troubles. And you know, they're up and down, but this is an up team they're playing against right now in Kansas.
Thompson, strong move to the cup. Going to earn himself a trip to the free throw line. And one thing about Oklahoma State, look, 500 team, 13-13 on the season. They're 5 games under 500 in league play at 5-10, but they've been good against some really good teams. They were competitive in both losses to Houston. One of those games they jumped out to an 18-9 lead against the Cougars, really kind of punched them in the mouth. And so they've had spells on certain nights where they've been really good. How do they respond now under this set of circumstances in this gym?
Well, on the other side of that, Spiro, is how does Kansas respond to their first half, too, I would think. You know, Bill Self wants them to continue to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. He'd like to see something very similar to that first half. Whether they can duplicate that or not is a stretch possibly, but he wants them to keep the throttle going.
Again, no team in the Big 12 takes or makes more free throws per game. Might that be an avenue for the Cowboys to somehow get themselves into striking distance? Dean to the rack. Misses a little chippy, and then it's deflected out of bounds by Kansas, and now they're going to change the call. Last touch by Oklahoma State. Steve Lutz 2 years ago working his magic with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Back-to-back trips to the NCAA tournament. Last year took Western Kentucky into the dance for the first time, Jimmy, in more than a decade.
You know, and he knows also, Spiro, today, the second half, he needs a couple of bounces in this first 4 or 5 minutes to go his way. He'll take any luck he can get.
Wild to think this was a 21-17 Kansas lead midway through the first half. Harris left open, and he buries it.
They're really utilizing both corners very well. That was Griffin this time, who went across to the other side. In the first half, we saw them go from left to right a few times also, spreading the court.
Sorry, Jimmy, 137 straight start for Harris. That now tied for the second longest stretch in the incredible history of this KU program. What a career it's been for DeJuan Harris Jr. Dickinson rolling the cup, the tap, no, couple of stabs at it, and they come up empty.
Yeah, they just try to backdoor you from all different spots on the floor.
Tough move to the cup that time. Won't go for Keller. Cowboys come up empty. Harris across the floor to Griffin. Back in a starting role. Little body bump. And he's going to shoot free throws.
Yeah, I love the way Griffin just then bent over to get by the defender just then, trying to get himself into the paint. So watch that baseline cut. And who's waiting? Right in the opposite corner. And by the way, there's nobody at home at all for Oklahoma State. And they're just picking them apart.
Again, if you just hopped on with us, we got our ref cam going. All three officials wearing a chest camera. First time we're trying out this technology on CBS. It's giving us some incredible pictures as Ryland Griffin misses on his first free throw. New CBS tomorrow. He's more than just a doctor. He's a detective. Morris Chestnut stars in the new must-watch mystery Watson. New CBS tomorrow and streaming on Paramount Plus. Great to have you with us. Always just an incredible scene here. Bog Allen Fieldhouse, Lawrence, Kansas, on a 40-degree day in the basketball heartland. Great to have you with us. Spiro Dedes, Jim Spinarkle, Jenny Dell, our producer Bill Thayer, Matt Plundo, our director, rest of our CBS crew. Kansas Jayhawks, preseason #1 team in the country. After back-to-back losses, including a 34-point defeat Tuesday in Provo to BYU. They have looked like a completely different team. Usman misses badly.
Well read there by Dickinson, too. He knew exactly where he was going.
Transition, three, splash! It's Mayo coming for more.
Need I say they couldn't catch up to Mayo, huh? See what I did there?
You are, boy. Just trying to keep up, Jimmy. Usman on the box, body bumping with Dickinson, misses.
Yeah, but Dickinson's body is just so big that he can't kind of bang him out of there to get any separation for his shot to go up. And here they come again. Adams that time on the left, just setting his teammates up. Just very, very smooth when they get it going.
Jimmy, it's just crazy. You talk about game-to-game swings. You wonder where some of this was for Kansas on Tuesday night. But, you know, it's such a long season. Sometimes you need a night like that to jumpstart your season.
Well, keep in mind, BYU had this type of game against Kansas, just like Kansas is playing against Oklahoma State.
Dickinson, they are carving them up here in Lawrence. And obviously not the start that Steve Lutz was looking for to begin the second half. As this thing has ballooned to a 36-point differential.
And I'm not sure, Spiro, that it's really the crowd that's getting them.
Thompson, that was Adams coming over with the help defense, but they're going to put Thompson back at the stripe.
Yeah, I know the crowd plays into it. There's no question about that, but good look from out of bounds almost, and Dickinson in the right spot just to catch the ball. Never hit that line going along the baseline. But they're playing a level ahead, Kansas right now, and Oklahoma State, whether it is a crowd in here or not. I think if this was an empty building, I think they'd have trouble defending and competing with Kansas right now.
Mentioned Thompson's background here as a freshman. As we take a little glance at the All-State Conference update. Big 12, of course, one of the lethal conferences in the sport. This is what it looks like according to Jerry Palm in terms of what the seeding will look like. With March, Jimmy, just a couple of days away. (61-27). That was the third personal a couple of seconds ago on Adams. Back at this backdoor slip, Griffin, and then they get him at the cup. What a defensive recovery by Newman. And now Newman a little bit late to get to his feet. Looks like everyone's okay. Where you talk about athleticism on the defensive recovery after he got beaten backdoor.
Yeah, he was beaten badly initially, but the recovery was there. Look, he's trying to catch up. And fortunately, nobody got hurt on that play. I thought, as you touched on, I thought Newman may have kind of hurt the knee a little bit on the way down.
By the way, the Cowboys have still not hit a basket so far. They've missed their first 5 here in the second half. Little hesitation, and then right there, it's Avery, right on cue.
And it's a guy who comes off the bench and really helps this Oklahoma State team. It's a little over 12 points a game for them.
Avery has hit multiple threes in 7 straight games. That was his first today. Aaron passed by Dickinson, and everyone's going to catch their breath. The Kansas Jayhawks putting one on the Cowboys.
Represent the United States in international play, guys.
Just part of the fabric, Jenny, of this place where so much of the history of the sport, men's and women's college basketball, has been authored over the years. And Jimmy, you walk through the concourse of this place. They've got a little kind of quasi-museum set up in the concourse just behind where we're seated here courtside. And it just almost takes your breath away with some of the old jerseys and the basketballs and the sneakers of some of the all-time names that have come through the sport. This place is incredible.
It really is. Beyond impressive, that's for sure.
Speaking of impressive, Kansas Jayhawks 61-30. And this little graphic will tell you just about all you need to know. Again, this was a 4-point Kansas lead halfway through the first half. It was 21-17. But the Jayhawks outscored the Cowboys 31-6 over the final 10 minutes of the first half, and they have never looked back.
And look at them. They start by just pressuring the basketball and the inbounds pass. Up 31. Like I said, Bill Self does not want them to let up at all.
Avery lights the lamp from 3, trying to jumpstart this Cowboys team. But they got a lot more real estate to pick up. 8 straight points now for Oklahoma State. Everyone wondering, when that new AP poll comes out on Monday, will Kansas still be ranked after those back-to-back losses? As Coit has come back onto the floor now for Bill Self. Griffin from deep, splash!
They're just playing. We've talked about this at the end of the first half in terms of the confidence. It's one of the things that Bill Self was hoping to get back. The chemistry, the confidence, get these guys back on the same page. And it's just been incredible how that has occurred.
Open 3 and Newman. So suddenly this Oklahoma State offense starting to cook. By the way, that was Kansas's 11th three-point make in this game. That already has tied their season high.
They just have to get the stops down this end, Oklahoma State.
Here comes Griffin wheeling his way through outside to Coit. Boy, he was hot in the first half, and he's still hot.
I love the way he gives them a lift. Whether it's shooting the 3 ball or whether it's going after it off the bounce for the mid-range jumper.
Bill Self said he may be our best vocal leader. Guy who's come in and shaken this group up when they've needed it at times this season. Newman left open a little bit too much, and the rebound corralled by Mayo, who's been sensational. Dickinson going to get him reset, giving to Coit. As we are inside of 14 minutes, Coit, boy, hasn't needed a lot of space. Offensive rebound underneath Bidunga. As we check in with Jenny.
Well, it's been quite the journey for David Coit. He grew up in New Jersey, didn't get any offers out of high school, so he did a year at prep school in Pennsylvania before attending Atlantic Cape Community College. There, he led D3 JUCO in scoring. So to make ends meet and to pay for school, he was a pizza delivery guy. He really was doing whatever it took to just keep his dream alive. So he spent 2 seasons then at Northern Illinois before getting this opportunity with the Jayhawks. Coit said, 4 years ago, I was a pizza delivery driver. 4 years later, I'm playing for one of the best colleges in the country. Guys, extremely grateful for this opportunity. It's such a great story.
Kenny, amazing stuff. One of the all-time stories indeed.
Yeah, it was another pizza delivery just then. He's delivering it, cheese with everything on it now.
He is putting on some kind of show. A little turnaround glass offering that time from Usman.
He's got, Coit has some bounce, just jogging up the court. You can just see it coming through his body, the confidence.
So here's Coit. You mentioned what he did last year at Northern Illinois. He was second in the Mid-American Conference in scoring. Backdoor Griffin lost it off of his leg. That's a KU turnover.
They've been running those sets very nicely, except a couple of times they've fumbled the ball.
You know, Bill Self, Jim, has been looking for some of the transfers, these kids in this program for the first year, to try to find some consistency. It's going to be a big part, big factor in terms of how far this team goes next month.
I couldn't agree more.
Avery left open, offensive rebound. Usman turns right back up, misses point blank. And Avery, boy, how much of a football play there.
Yeah, little two-handed grab, wasn't it?
Or all of a football play, I should say, as he just kind of grabbed him from the back. And that's going to be the first on Avery. A little bit of a frustration foul.
Yeah, and that's why you'll see the officials get in there in a hurry. This is the type of game, you know, Oklahoma State could get frustrated. Just have to make sure you're blowing the whistle at the appropriate time. Keep control over it.
Here comes Harris, tremendous in the first half, a little bit off target that time. Up the floor comes the Cowboys into the corner. That one won't go from Dow. So the Cowboys come up empty again as we come up on the 12-minute mark, second half. A day that has been owned by the Jayhawks. This is Coit.
Oh, boy.
Steps back. Boy, he's feeling it, isn't he?
Oh, he sure is. That was a difficult shot.
So Coit, who hit his first 5 threes, has now missed his last 2. 5 of 7 from deep on the day. Putting together one of the best games of his season for Bill Self and the Jayhawks. Late substitution here. Patrick Sumnick is going to come back in for Steve Lutz and Oklahoma State. We're 12:09 left in regulation. Usman's going to take a seat. All part of the growing pains, Jimmy. First year, this new coaching staff. Obviously, Lutz having all kinds of success his last 2 stops, but it's a different animal in the Big 12. A.J. Storr taking contact and a chance at 3.
And that's a player's Storr that they would love to get some more consistency out of him. Great year with Wisconsin last year, and here he finishes it off with the left.
That was a new car, huh? Yep. Big L. Ellie?
You called for a big L, so now she's serving. Get it, girl?
I meant my car. That is a big loss.
Oh, you don't need an L, you need a W. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Just give State Farm a call. We'll get to work.
Excuse me, guys, but the queen is already working here.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Watson is all new CBS Sunday.
Stages of this second half as we get to our fast analysis presented by AT&T.
Yeah, this has been cruise control for the last 20 minutes of game time for Kansas. Coit going over the top with his long-range shot, and everything just seems to be going well for them. This is Adams at 6'7", leading their break in the middle of the floor, finding another shooter. It's just really something to watch. This place is really cooking, isn't it?
A.J. Storr chance at a 3-point play as this place continues to rock. Look at what they have done from 3-point distances. Kansas already has eclipsed its season high for made threes. They've hit now 13. A previous mark was 11 against Howard in the early part of the season. Actually, the season opener. Jimmy, if they can somehow find some consistency from that 3-point line, this is a different Jayhawks team.
Well, no question. I mean, statistically, they're not great, 34%, but still, if you can build on that, and Bill Self knows that, in terms of being able to get that, trying to still get the chemistry and the confidence back on this team. And we've spoken about that. It's Now, the key thing, though, becomes, Spiro, this is one of those home games for you. You know they're going to play pretty well here. What do they do when they hit the road again?
Here comes Storr to the cup. Let's see who they give that basket to as Bidunga on a dive to the rack. And look at the second chance points, a big part of the story here. Bidunga all over the place. A little bit of inverted contact. Let's see if the Cowboys get the timeout, and they will. Heady play by Chi Avery, able to fall in the basketball. And everyone thankfully looks like they're okay. Tremendous effort, both teams. And Oklahoma State's going to have it when we come back. Boy, that ref cam giving us some pretty amazing pictures here in Lawrence. All Kansas on CBS.
If you could pick the perfect topping for a freshly prepped jersey.
Last time around, they asked if he would be interested in coming back. And after one night of sleeping on it, he quickly put that idea to rest. Guys, he said they got the right guy in Lutz.
Yeah, those two have actually developed a pretty neat relationship. With Lutz taking the job, they've been in contact a little bit, and it was interesting though to hear that. A little bit of an eyebrow raise. I'm sure it'll get some attention in Stillwater. And we should say Bill Self did not love the timing of the report. He actually texted Steve Lutz to apologize, and Lutz kind of laughed it off. But they've gotten really tight. Nice little friendship between them.
And I know it's the alma mater, but this is a tough place to leave.
That's the understatement.
Yeah, exactly.
Bidunga. The other cool thing that Steve Lutz told us is we get some contact here off the ball. Steve Lutz's son Jackson, who's actually started to collect some autographed basketballs. He wanted Bill Self's signature, so Steve reached out to Coach Self. He said, my son Jackson's interested in it. So Bill Self signed it. Rock chalk, go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys, yep.
Neat little moment for young Jackson Lutz, and hoping his pop can get his Cowboys back into this game here in Lawrence. This is Brantley's going to get him reset as we come up on the midway point of this second half. Usman, this is Dow. Brantley. Over the top, tough shot, mid-range Jay. And Brantley, cash money for the Cowboys.
Yeah, you know they're not going to go away from a competition standpoint. Well, here we go.
Rare miss for Coit. Cowboys control. This is Avery, corner three, a little bit too much. And Bidunga clears. Harris. Boy, he's done a little bit of everything for the Jayhawks in this game.
That's a remarkable shot he has developed over his career. A little floating push shot. Throws everybody off in terms of the timing of when he's going to try to get it.
Brantley, boy, they get him on the glass. What defense? It was Storr. There's so much athleticism on this Jayhawks team. Here comes Coit, got himself in trouble. Avery. And there's the foul in the transition. They're going to get Storr with 9:11 left to play in this second half. Tomorrow on CBS, it's a Big Ten College Hoops doubleheader beginning at 1:30 Eastern with number 13 Purdue getting set to take on Indiana, followed by Ohio State and UCLA. The road to the Final Four is on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. 79-43. If you've just hopped on with us, there's your field goal shooting in the half. This game turned right at the 10-minute mark of the first half after a really good start. Newman coming strong, and he's going to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's a pretty good example of Oklahoma State basketball right there. The way Newman came through the middle of the lane looking for body action. They just haven't gotten to the free throw line enough in consistent spots this afternoon. Taking 12 as a team, but still, they've been really on a searching mission trying to get to the paint.
Jimmy, the other interesting thing that Steve Lutz told us in our conversation with him before the game that I thought was interesting, we asked him what the experience has been like for him. Such a whirlwind, third head coaching stop in 3 years. And One thing he said was, we have to decide as a program in Stillwater, do we want to play with the big boys? Are we going to ante up? You know, talking about NIL, how it's changed the sport, roster turnover, facility upgrades potentially.
Yeah. The whole package he's talking about in terms of making a commitment to it. In this day and age with the NIL and the way you can raise the money.
Three-pointer from Harris won't go, and then a loose ball foul, as Bidunga hasn't gotten a lot of minutes in this game, but he has been active with Hunter Dickinson now back on that Jayhawks bench.
But it is an interesting point you bring up, though, with Oklahoma State, you know, with the world of resources right now, I'll call it, including the NIL, collectives, etc., revenue sharing. You have to be able to compete with the big-name schools that still have the money that can go around.
I'm still trying to grasp it all, Jimmy. You finance guys, you pick it up quicker. Bidunga knocked out of his hands. Brantley gives it to Avery, the trailer. Three-pointer a little bit short. And another rebound for Bidunga. 11 rebounds for Bidunga in 16 minutes off the bench.
Yeah, and he doesn't need it today, but it's good to see him playing like that to give Hunter Dickinson some additional rest.
Officials are going to get Coit on a reach-in. Didn't like that call. As we're inside of 8 left in Lawrence, all Kansas on CBS.
And today, boys.
That's what you call a little tease there, television tease. Doug Sermons, one of the great officials, 9 Final Fours, and this has been pretty awesome. You've seen with the vantage point.
That was my favorite right there, the loose ball.
All right, guys, so it's a chest harness that the camera's on. It includes a lightweight camera, microphone, and it uses AI to help motion stabilization so that the camera footage we're seeing is smoothed out, and it's been incredibly smooth, even though the subject is in constant motion. This cutting-edge technology, it's 70% lighter and 35% thinner than a GoPro. It's been used in the NBA All-Star Game, Major League Baseball playoffs, the World Series, now showing up on CBS. Gotta love it.
Jenny just trying to keep up with some of the technology. It's been incredible. Officials telling us in our little chat with them before the game, didn't feel cumbersome, feels really lightweight. Could be a thing of the future here already. Good hands. Boy, Newman has been impressive with his defense, both ends of the floor, unable to whip it back. This is Mayo left open. There's a three, and he buries another triple.
It's just a terrific reaction by Coit, too. Sticking with the play and then dishing one across court.
Usman trying to create some space. Bidunga, what a matchup between those two. And free throws coming up for Oklahoma State's big.
And here's the potential steal, and they get it right back. And watch Coit, he makes this play right across court. He's an open teammate. They've really been passing the ball very well this afternoon. Getting 19 assists on their 31 buckets.
So here's Usman now at the free throw line. Jimmy mentioned some of his defensive prowess, what he's done as a shot blocker in his career. 3 years at North Texas, last year at Xavier. Young man in his 5th collegiate season. How about this? We talk about a whirlwind week. Last team to win by 30 points after losing by 30 in the same week, 2009 Louisville. This has been a 7-day roller coaster, to say the least, for Bill Self and that staff.
Well, it's on their home floor, as we've discussed, but they have to play at Colorado also. And then they also have to play at Houston, along with a home game here with Texas Tech. So 2 of those last 3 games are going to be a challenge.
Boy, as good as the Big 12 has been, you add the Houston Cougars into the mix, just unreal. No easy nights in this conference. That's putting it mildly. But how does this Kansas team finish the season? 17-9, which is actually the worst 26-game record for this program. 26 games into a season. You have to go all the way back to Roy Williams' first year here, 88-89. Just amazing. Thompson at the elbow. He's been quiet in the second half. And Bidunga just keeps swallowing up those rebounds. The Store was out of bounds. It's a turnover.
Yeah, you'd like, if you're Kansas, you'd like to see Storr get some good minutes right here and continue to playing well so far, but just build on this a little bit. A little bit of a tough fit for Kansas for Storr.
Bill Self has been at the controls here since 2003. 22nd year at the helm of this legendary Kansas basketball program. Whistle blown here. Steve Lutz looking over at official Brooks Wells, gets the call, and it's a 1-1 for the Cowboys. New CBS Monday. Grab your gear and head out with an exciting new NCIS. CBS Monday, 9/8 Central, and streaming on Paramount Plus. So here's Bryce Thompson, young man who has put some kind of career together. 4-year starter after that first year here in Lawrence. And his ties to Bill Self run deep. His father, Ron, Jimmy, actually played for Bill Self at Tulsa in the 90s.
And he finishes up that one right there off his own missed free throw.
So we come up on the 6-minute mark. A.J. Storr gets those shoulders square. Usman got him. Loose ball. Dow ahead of the pack is Thompson. Mayo gets him from the back. Three-pointer from Dow. Good-looking stroke, but it fell a little bit short. This is Dean, and he's going to get him reset. Underneath Jennings. Boy, that interior defense for Kansas has been sticky.
It's collapsing, isn't it? Two guys had a hand on the basketball just then for the attempted shot. And one guy goes first, the second guy comes in afterwards. Good work there on the defensive effort there by Mayo, not quitting on the play even though you're up a ton.
Marquise Passmore has checked into the game now for Bill Self. By the way, that was the 6th block shot for the Jayhawks in this game. Again, 6th in the country is Kansas in adjusted defensive efficiency, and they're not done yet. Bidunga. Saying, don't come in here with any of that weak stuff.
And even if you're going to try to float it up there a little bit and getting out of my way.
Boy, if that guy's your second big coming off the bench, my goodness.
40+ blocks on the season.
So Thompson with that outside delivery. Bidunga coming with some serious smoke.
My goodness, is he commanding both ends of the floor.
Well, we saw him get the start on Tuesday in the blowout loss. Today, back in his usual role off the bench. And this could be a little breakthrough moment for Bill Self's freshman stud.
I love the way he just patiently gathers himself up to finish it. Watch, he doesn't have the first trip right there. Turns and forget about it on that one.
1-1 here for Dow at the free throw line. Again, born in the Republic of Congo. Came to the U.S., settled in Indianapolis, played at Kokomo High School there, where he was a McDonald's All-American and a 5-star recruit and a 2-time high school player of the year. You can stream CBS Sports HQ, your free 24/7 snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. Catch highlights, in-depth analysis, and breaking news anywhere you are. Download the CBS Sports app today to watch. (86-52) as we cross the 5-minute mark left in the second half. Jimmy, have you seen enough from this KU team to lead you to think that they're back on track?
For now, I have. There's no question about that. The efforts they're getting, the way they're playing, the energy level.
Here comes Griffin, little Euro step, misses at the cup.
Yeah,
Passmore. Let's check in with Jenny.
Well, guys, you just did that promotion for CBS Sports HQ. Hunter Dickinson's actually one of our colleagues at CBS. For the last 8 weeks, he's been joining our CBS Sports HQ team as a basketball analyst. He told me that after what he hopes is a very successful career in professional basketball, he would love to be a TV analyst. So this is a perfect opportunity to start getting reps in. He prepares for his segments, does all the research. He's been loving it. Guys, he's a big fan of Bill Raftery and, of course, of you, Jim.
So nice, Jenny. Thank you.
Wow. Fisher's, by the way, looking to see if the basketball hit the rim.
I hope he wants to be natural. I hope he wants to be a play-by-play guy.
You looked like you were squirming in your seat a little bit, getting a little nervous.
What if he comes over here and says he wants my seat? How am I going to argue with that guy?
Another look from that vantage point. Did it get the iron? This is the ref cam angle, so exactly what Doug Sermon saw underneath. Thompson the steal. Off and running, little 3-on-1 break, and it's Keller. But Oklahoma State looks up and incredibly still in a 30-plus point hole here in Lawrence.
Yeah, it's amazing. You touched on it a couple of times, Spiro. The first 10 minutes of this game, we had a ball game on our hands, and then last 10 minutes, Kansas just went to work.
Storr chiseling his way to the cup.
Could be a wild card for them if he gets it together.
Here's Dean. Up the floor is Storr. Couple of fakes. And he's going to get him reset to pass more. There's Dean. One of the elite defenders in the country. And able to finish.
Well, he's amazing with the way he can anticipate out front. Passing lanes, the steals.
Mentioned what he did at FIU last year. Leading the country. School record in steals. Andrija Vukovic has checked into the game. Here he is underneath. Bidunga. He has been a human eraser underneath, but the officials say it's a goaltend.
Wow. He sees him there for a second. I don't know about that one.
Boy, this has been a party right from the start. Student section in full force.
Yeah, there's some people who have left, but not many. Few empty seats here. They just enjoy the show.
What a day for that kid. Flory Bidunga has taken his seat. 16 rebounds, 3 blocks for Bidunga. His 16 rebounds, a career height, actually has tied Ray LaFrance for third most in a game by a Kansas freshman. Three-pointer from Coit, a little bit short, and Oklahoma State clears. Doug Sermon's going to blow his whistle to stop the game, get some subs in for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he may have thought there was an injury down there too with Thompson.
Kirk Cole and Tyler Karen will check into the game here for Steve Lutz. Now looks like Karen will be the inbounder for the Cowboys. So Oklahoma State's going to fall back under the 500 mark. They lost by almost 40 last weekend to Texas Tech. Bounced back Wednesday with that victory over Central Florida. And Jimmy, the news of this would be a challenging year. Growing pains, new coaching staff after the dismissal of Mike Boynton. And this is just one of those days for a young program.
Yeah, when you think about it, Oklahoma State put up 104 points the other night. And the clamps have been on here by Kansas.
That was Dylan Wilhite coming in as both coaches now have emptied their benches. Thompson rattles one in from the free throw line. Well, Steve Lutz and his team have already surpassed their win total from last year, but that won't bring any smiles to anyone's face on that flight home back to Stillwater later today, as they will gear up for the final couple of weeks of the regular season.
This is the same feeling that Kansas had a couple of nights ago against BYU. Like, what happened?
Wilder Evers trying to feed the post. And then the Cowboys turned it right back over. This is what it looks like in the Big 12. Just hard to believe that Kansas, after the preseason #1 ranking, just trying to fend for themselves, will go up to 9-7 in league play. Boy, backdoor, and Evers getting them back out of their seats. What a moment for the redshirt sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama. Doing it on the big stage here on CBS.
Yeah, anytime you can get these guys who don't get a chance to play that often and get some good results. You know, they got out there. Here we go again, another easy one. You got about 4 minutes of playing time. So a lot of times they come out and there's only 30 seconds left. They don't get the chance to play, nor do they get a chance to shoot it.
Well, they work so hard. All the practices, all the blood, sweat, and tears. Now getting a chance at some run. Passmore's pass broken up, gets it back underneath, and Evers. Oh boy, injured player is Tyler Karen, clutching that knee. Just hate to see it. Athletic trainer is going to come onto the floor, but that young man is in a world of pain just opposite the Kansas bench. Oh boy, the left leg just buckled under him.
Yep.
Sixth year of eligibility for Tyler Karen, Longview, Texas native. 5 years at St. Mary's in Texas. But this is his first year at the Division I level. He's concerned now with Steve Lutz coming over, his head coach. And they will slowly help him towards that Oklahoma State bench. And really a nice gesture from the sellout crowd here to give that young man a standing ovation.
Yeah, he can't put the weight on it. They may have to, I was just going to say, they may have to give him the...
Steve Lutz coming over. And now they will assist him to make that long walk.
Yeah, he's having trouble putting any weight whatsoever on that left leg.
Jimmy, this is the cool part of the sport.
Yep.
So 41.6 seconds left. All part of what has been just an emotionally draining season. Highs and lows for this Oklahoma State team as they watch one of their new pieces, Tyler Karen, get helped into their locker room.
Guys on the floor picking up full court just then. Bill Self yelled, what are you guys doing?
This is Kirk Cole. Corner three, no. Offensive rebound. Avery off the assist. Nice little find by Keller underneath. So Kansas is going to win it. They'll get to 18-9 on the season, 9-7 in conference play. And boy, it's going to be an interesting couple of final weeks in that Big 12 conference.
Well, that's a good one for them to build off of and see if they can continue it over the next 3 or 4 games.
Kansas Jayhawks suffered one of the worst losses in their rich history Tuesday in Provo. Did they come back and answer the bell